So here we are, after episode 5 of Game of Thrones. We had some moments, didn't we?
There were a lot of moments.
I see you crying near the end.
Welcome back. We're here. We've recently done a few Game of Thrones videos. We did some about the Long Night. We did some about the Last of the Stark.
Long Night was your favourite episode of the series.
Favourite episode of everything, really.
There's nothing better than good character design.
And we're back and we're here to talk about, we don't know the exact title of the episode as of this recording, but I think it's the last of, The Surrender of the Bells, or The Bells of Surrender, or something like, it's something about the bells is what I've been told. So we're going to talk about the latest episode. We just watched the episode, so this is very fresh impressions.
Oh, it certainly is.
About what's happened. We're about
some parts will never leave you, right?
Oh, so they'll stay with me forever.
It's very true to the book in all aspects of the episode.
As you can see,
that's the best
we brought the
part
books
of it.
as props because, but you know what, we have to say these books, just like D&D said, fuck the books, it's about the cinematography.
We're going off script, baby. Actually, if they'd done Feast for Crows, they could have gone on for that could have been 2 seasons.
It should have been more. It should have been 10 to 12, that's what George wanted.
Yeah.
He wanted 10 to 12 full seasons, which is probably what should have happened. But we're here to talk about this episode. Episode 5, Season 8, the second last episode of all time.
The penultimate adventure, yeah.
And I just want to say to you, Daniel, how do you feel after watching it? We watched it about 20 minutes ago. This is our very fresh impression.
I don't feel as bad as I did after episode 3, but I have to say, the final 2 minutes did leave.
Oh, and by the way, spoiler warning, of course. Spoiler warning for everything. There you go.
I think the episode was a lot better as a whole. I agree with you. You mentioned it before. Probably the best episode of season 8.
I think this is.
And one of the best episodes. Some of the plot aspects are the best in a long time. Probably since season 4. But
this is probably the best since they have gone off script.
We saw some very amazing things happen. Like Danny going crazy. So just get right into it, I guess.
I reckon what we should do is let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
The first big death, first 10 minutes, Varys' death. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, if any character is going to be killed off, it probably makes sense to kill him off.
He's still not a main character. He's still a supporting character, but I feel like this is the first time we've actually seen significance from his character since probably season 4 or 5. He's always been known for his little birds, he's the Whisperer, right? He's the spider. So he has all these interconnected networks throughout Westeros, where he has all these people feeding him information. It's how, in the first book, in the first season, how he knows he's going to arrive.
He's always double dealing under the table, isn't he?
Yeah,
and I think
we haven't seen that
he's finally being punished for it. Punished in the most extreme way, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I really liked it, and I liked how he didn't die screaming. He died in a very honourable way.
That's one of my favourite things in the show with Mance Rayder, where it's just like, how are they going to kill me? Oh, burning. And he's like, oh, it's a bad way to go. And that's why Jon Snow put him out of his misery to save the wildlings from seeing their leader burn alive.
I didn't like.
But the thing is, I want to say this, Daniel. Maybe they didn't show him screaming because D&D are lazy.
That's very possible. Because the actor wasn't even there.
Yeah, we didn't even see the corpse.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, we just saw the flames. Licking away.
It kind of lazily cut away. So maybe he's not as honourable as we think.
One thing I really didn't like. I really despise how Tyrion sold out Varys.
Yeah, because as you remember in season 4, Varys is the one that got Tyrion out of King's Landing. He's the one that saved him from basically the ill and pain, or it probably wasn't him in the show, but basically the executioner's block, right? He's the one that got him out of King's Landing, and when he did, he found out that Tyrion had killed Tywin Lannister, and that's why he heard the bells ringing going, holy shit. And he said to Tyrion, what have you done? That's why he left Essos with Tyrion, because he realised, I can't come back.
Varys was one of the only people who ever stood up for him, and Tyrion was... He very easily just sold him out.
Yeah.
I'm not too satisfied with that. And then Varys was going, goodbye, old friend, even after he betrayed him. I didn't like that.
Varys was more honourable than Tyrion has been in 4 years.
Tyrion was a coward.
He's been a coward for a long time. He just has
blind loyalty to Varys. And Varys was the one who originally told Tyrion that he should go and find Daenerys. It just... Oh god.
Yeah, Varys, I like how we had his letters. He obviously was sending ravens all around the realm. And what I could tell from what the letters said was that there is a true heir to the Iron Throne, and his name is, or something along those lines.
Varys was good, but it was just. It's more. The problem is more with Tyrion's character. They butchered him, but we've seen this since season 5, ever since season 4. Because you were reading me a passage from the end of book 3 or 4 before.
Storm of Swords, book 2.
Well, that book,
is called Blood and Gold.
Where pretty much it sets up Tyrion's arc for the wars to come.
Yeah,
that one.
I wish you good fortune in the wars to come.
But yeah, they kind of just abandoned that plot thread in the show and just did nothing with Tyrion. He was just he was just there for drinking and knowing things. I drink and I know things. I think he literally says that in season 5 or 6.
That's his memorable quote. Get that tattooed on you.
I drink and I know things.
Tattooed on your body. I think that's D&D. They drink, but they don't know things. That's the big difference. I think Varys' death, I like the way that kind of...
That was a good one.
Yeah, thank you. I like the way that Drogon kind of came out of, the depths of the darkness, and he was willing to face his fate. I told Daniel as we were watching, and I said, it's just like Melisandre's vision, right? When Varys was looking into the flames, and she's like, do you like what you see? I could be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure Melisandre showed him the flames.
If Varys was suicidal in that moment, his eyes would have lit up and he would have gone, oh yeah.
Just like you would, I imagine.
You like what you see?
I like how his fate was intertwined with the flames. That makes sense. Like, the thing I want to say about this episode, it feels like there was a lot of George R. R. Martin in this. A lot less D&D, a lot more George R. R. Martin, but there was the D&D effect we will get to. They certainly had a presence.
I reckon we should go next into what happens at the beginning with Euron and his fleet. Yep. The inconsistency. So what we noticed was absolutely absurd in the previous episode where Euron just... immediately
I highlighted this in
this previous video. The dragon gets shot out of the sky and killed. Some people thought the dragon wasn't really dead, but it is apparently. And then in this episode, no arrow hits from the whole fleet hits Daenerys at all.
It's not really an arrow, it's more of a harpoon.
Yeah, more of a harpoon, yeah. But none of these harpoons hit the dragon at all. And she wipes out the whole fleet, and she wipes out the Golden Company. She wipes out everyone.
That's the thing I said in my last video. I said, why doesn't Daenerys attack at night? How could the Scorpions possibly target her? But you know what? It doesn't matter. The plot arc is too strong, baby. No dragon armor.
You and me having a good laugh when Euron appeared. We're like, hey! As he appeared behind the mechanism of the harpoons. That was hilarious. We thought it was going to happen again.
Why the fuck did she attack during the day? It doesn't make... But who cares? You know what I will say?
You've done a bit of Total War in your time, as you said.
As I said, yes.
Yeah, I stood
but
down.
you know what? Sabachek, or Spatula as we could possibly call him, the director of this episode, in the long night, we couldn't see a damn thing. I am thankful, even if logic goes out the window, at least I could watch this episode. At least I could see what was happening. I think that, Euron appearing at the start, and they showed all the Scorpions on the walls, it showed that they were a formidable defense against Daenerys.
The best thing about Euron, though, is when, he pulled down his pants when he saw Daenerys oncoming, and he revealed his heart.
I have a big cock!
Yeah, and then all the girls...
I'm gonna fuck the queen!
Then Daenerys appeared, and he went, oh yeah. Wasn't that the best part?
Yeah, so basically the way the episode is set up is Daenerys comes out of the sky, and
in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, basically, suddenly, all of a sudden, the Iron Fleet cannot shoot for shit. They cannot hit a dragon.
Some of them just aren't firing at all, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
they're just standing there going, oh, here we go.
Daniel actually mentioned it when we were watching. He said this is what a dragon should
be. Because you mentioned to me before as well that George R. R. Martin talked about a dragon in its fully fledged flight cannot be shot out of the sky. Yeah, mature dragon, which these dragons are, unless it's like a 1 in a million shot. Which is what the Night King pretty much had, right?
Yeah, I accept, like you said, I accept that the Night King could do it because he's a supernatural.
I mean, he was meant to be the greatest threat out. Oh god, I'm thinking about... Anyway,
the long night
that makes sense.
hangs over this entire season.
But yeah, it just didn't make any sense. You love a bit of an inconsistent story, don't you?
Oh, well, that's what we've got in this entire season. All of a sudden, every single Scorpion could not fire on Drogon, even though that's explicitly stated that is what they are looking for in the sky. You know what? Fuck it. Let Daenerys burn the Iron Fleet. Whatever. I thought Yasha might show up at some point. The Iron Fleet would fight the Iron Fleet. You know, that kind would be cool, but... We got this really cool scene where the armies were standing off, but we had this decimated force where all of a sudden, by the way, baby, Dothraki are back. And here they are.
They're back in
once again.
And they're acting like predators as usual, running through the streets of King's Landing going, ooh!
Absolute rapists. That's how they would
describe. What would you do if you saw the Dothraki come for you and you were with me? Do you reckon we'd have to drink poison because we'd know we're about to be raped? We have to get out of that. And fate worse than death, might I add, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we had this really cool scene where the Scorpions were all kind of pointed at the armies. This decimated force of Unsullied, the Northmen. I didn't really see any Knights of the Vale. I don't know what happened to them, but inconsistencies, baby.
The leader,
but we had the Golden Company which is like this mythical thing in the books where we've never seen them in the books, we've never seen them in the show.
They've never lost a fight.
Yeah, they've never basically failed a contract, I think, is what their mythology is.
Yeah.
And we had this shot, Daniel, and you were really impressed by it.
I think two things about that. Wait, you say the shot. The shot is first.
Well, the shot is where Drogon comes through and basically wipes out the
from
front
behind
gate and decimates the Golden
And your issue with that was you thought, like, it's absurd that they're killed off like that, right? Considering what we saw the previous episode. I thought it was really cool.
Well, the thing is... oh, wait.
I know you... I see your point,
Let me say about the Golden Company. They've been built up for a very long time in the books and the show.
Yeah.
And there was no payoff for them. So what was the point of the integration of it? We didn't even get to see them fight the Unsullied.
My problem is with, like, the fact that the dragon that got killed was no threat at all in the previous episode, and it did nothing. But then it wipes out the greatest, like, army known to man.
On Essos.
In Essos. But it would have been cool if the dragon was an actual threat, the one that got killed in the previous episode, because then it would show, like, this is the true might of, like, a dragon. It can wipe out such a formidable group. I reckon that shot
at the start of the episode where the Drogon comes through the gate and wipes out the God Company, it would have been cool if the Unsullied were engaged with them.
Oh,
and we're having this back and forth saying, who's the stronger army? It's like... That's true fan fiction, because D&D seemed to be a huge fan of fan fiction. If we had the Golden Company and Unsullied fighting each other, we could see who's getting the best of each other, like who's the more formidable force. Then, like, we had the leader, I think his name's Strickland or something, the actor.
I think it's Harry Strickland.
Yeah, Harry Strickland, and he kind of looks behind, he's like, oh shit, then it comes down.
Wait, what kind of... He had such a pathetic death, didn't he? You saw the way he was running... He was just running from the army, pathetic. You see the way his form, too?
Like,
quite awful.
Like, I like what Daniel was saying, how it shows a dragon and its true form. It's like, since Aegon the Conqueror, there has been no dragon that has been as formidable as basically these three dragons Daenerys had. But I just wish we saw a bit of the Golden Company. At least show, like, their mythos, their legacy, like, what they are capable of. I don't mind they were wiped out. They deserve to be wiped out. I kind of thought they would turn on Cersei when they saw, like, they'd realise it would be the first contract they would break, right? So that would be a really interesting angle saying, we can't beat these guys. Let's turn on the Mad Queen, Cersei.
Fuck the Queen!
Yeah. But they were pretty much eradicated as unceremoniously as a Dothraki in the Long Night.
So I reckon we should, what do you think about Dany? About the turn in her personality?
So yeah, essentially Dany wipes out the Iron Fleet, she wipes out the Golden Company, and we have this
That's
really
your
cool...
queen, man.
We have this...
You would have bent the knee to her.
No,
she's your queen.
Is a cast.
She's your queen.
You're just like...
Did you see Jon? Did you see Jon's eyes light up as she was burning King's Landing?
No, wait,
that's my girl.
No, we'll get to
that.
Oh,
sorry. Yeah.
So there's this really... We'll get to the meat and bones.
That was the best part.
Where she is sitting on top of the tower after wiping out all the scorpions, and Cersei's kind of staring at the dragon, and
seeing its might,
and Tyrion's waiting. Tyrion. Oh, actually, before we get to that, Arya and Sandor Clegane getting into King's Landing. What a load of bullshit. They passed a persuasion check. We're going to kill the Queen, and you know what? You want the Queen dead?
No. The thing is, aren't those the Queen's men?
Yes.
How loyal are they to the Queen? I mean, I know Cersei's...
They were willing to fight and die for her in the battle.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
That's dumb.
But then it's going to let... even if they weren't Cersei's, like... Man, are they just going to let some random person come who's talking about murdering another individual, let alone the Queen? It's just absolutely absurd.
So what happens is basically Daenerys has this really cool shot which is overlooking the city, and Jon Snow, Davos, Grey Worm are kind of storming through. They're fighting the Lannister forces. It's really awesome, really good sort of...
Really, like, confined and tight fighting within King's Landing.
It's Sapacek. I'm sorry I keep butchering his name, but I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but he's a master of these battles. It's awesome, fighting through the city.
This was probably the most visually impressive episode we've seen all season. Because, like, the night of the Long Night, we just couldn't see a lot of it.
The less we say about that, probably the better.
But how cool was it the moment where we see that Dany has gone full Mad Queen?
You know what triggers her is because Tyrion said the entire episode, ring the bells of surrender and you'll know the city has fallen, and she hears the bells and she didn't want that. She wanted an excuse to, like, just express her rage. And how cool is that though when we sort of see the fleeing soldiers caught up with the fleeing civilians. They're all mixed up together, and then we think that the flames are going to stop with the soldiers. No, we think Daenerys is going straight to the Red Keep.
Yeah, we do, but then we see the flames...
Wait, before we get to that.
Oh, okay.
Cersei said the Red Keep has never fallen. Ever heard of Robert's Rebellion, motherfucker? When the Lannisters sacked King's Landing? I suppose not. Logic has gone out the window.
Hey!
Proceed.
But, what was I going to say? Yeah, pretty much, like... yeah, the flames swallow up civilian and soldier alike, and that was...
Kill as many as you want, Daenerys. I'll still bend the knee to you.
Kill all the men, women, and children, especially the babies, my queen.
As long as I get to fuck you. But yeah, like, I described this shot of the people like cowering.
The more babies you kill, my love, the harder I get.
Oh, God.
And the more the North supports you.
Yeah, but yeah, tell us about this shot that like horrified you when you watched
you and me were both horrified. Like, I saw you laughing because you were so shocked and you didn't know how to respond to it. No, because like it was that that laugh of shock. When you see
can't believe it.
I couldn't. No, because it was so like. I think we all knew this would happen in some capacity, but it was just so brutal seeing all the cowering men, women, and children, the innocents, all just like running for their lives. There was a shot where a guy kind of like ducks in under this archway to escape the flames. They're just swallowing all the civilians, and even he just gets claimed like completely blown to pieces.
I think we have this really powerful shot as well.
Crazy.
John, Davos, and Grey Worm, and we both noticed in the episode, why wasn't John leading the forces?
Yeah, it's absurd.
That's ridiculous. He is the main character. Like, D&D, get this through your thick fucking red skulls. Jon Snow is the main character. He is a Song of Ice and Fire. I know you don't respect him. I know you don't respect him, but it was always about him, right?
Is it? Wait, anyway. Oh no, wait. It does say Song of Ice and Fire.
Wait, it says...
Fire
kills the Night King. What a twist.
Wait, Jaime perishes hugging Cersei. It was written.
Yeah, but like, there's this really cool scene where they confront the Lannister forces, right?
Oh yeah.
And the Lannisters
we see Grey Worm's true self.
Yeah, they drop their weapons, right? And me and Daniel were just like, "Well, this is amazing." Like,
I said to you, something else is going to come.
Yeah, and he was right. I thought Daenerys was going to burn the Red Keep. I thought that would be like that's vengeance enough.
Actually, that was a really sad scene because like. Obviously, we're not a fan of like the Kingsguard, but seeing them be killed and no force deserves to be killed like that when they've surrendered. That's a massacre. You reckon
it's a slaughter?
It's slaughter. It is like how the Starks men were treated in season 1. You said
exactly.
And I know, like you think it's not similar much, but it did remind me of the Red Wedding just because of how unjust. I think it was because of how unjustified it was. Yeah, that's why. I know it's different, but yeah. And I reckon the saddest shot in that whole thing is when Jon's like, you see his face when he. Well, actually, no. We should talk about like the fact that soldiers start killing innocents too.
Yeah,
like they become the Northmen become savages.
Let's talk about the scene where they're all confronted and all the Lannisters drop their swords, and Jon Snow kind of accepts it as a surrender, and he sees the woman he loves.
That's what he wanted.
The Mad Queen through the cities herself, burning King's Landing, and Grey Worm like has a full heel turn following the Mad Queen,
Grey Worm
slaughtering people indiscriminately.
Oh, that made me so uncomfortable when he just pulled out that spear and like
it's so unjust. Like, the thing is, us as viewers,
he's a true villain.
We're all on the Stark side, right? We all love the Stark.
Yeah.
But we felt empathy for the Lannister soldiers because it's unjust. They surrendered.
We saw like there are monsters under every flag. It doesn't matter who you fight under, what house you fight under.
No, what's the Jorah Mormont quote? It's like there's good and evil on every side in every war ever fought. And you know what? There was a true evil that was masquerading
it was just
over
permeating through King's Landing. Yeah. Oh.
And Jon kind of looking at the Northern soldiers charging.
Yeah, he's like screaming at them to stop, and he puts his hands out.
Back, stop!
I reckon that was one of the best parts of the episode.
That was the only redeeming thing about
It's just a shame that Jon wasn't given much more than that. They really need to give him more in episode 6. Holy shit.
They won't.
He needs to.
They've given him nothing.
But I reckon... Sorry,
like that scene when he just watched Grey Worm and he turns and looks at him. I was screaming at the television, Jon, kill him. Kill Grey Worm.
That would have been so satisfying if he did it.
Just imagine this, viewers. Imagine if Jon says, the North! Behind me! And he just charges a Grey Worm and fights him, and the Lannister soldiers don't fight the Starks anymore. These two hereditary rivals join forces to fight against a common enemy, the Mad Queen. Imagine the Lannisters and Starks uniting to fight a true enemy, the Unsullied, the Dothraki, the true rapists of the realm. Imagine that. That would have been so cool. Jon Snow fighting Grey Worm because it's, you know why? Because it's not right.
It isn't
right.
It made me feel horrified. I'm pretty sure it would have made everyone feel horrified. Like, that switch with the Mad Queen, by the way, some people are really annoyed on Twitter because I think it just came out of nowhere. I agree, it probably should have been like built up more, but it does seem like a George R.R. Martin like twist though.
That's the thing is, I think
they heavily implied.
I think the reason why this episode is the best episode of this season, it's not saying much, but I do think this was overall a good episode. We'll get to why.
It was overall.
I'll get to why I think it's really fucked it up at the end. But I feel like there's a lot of George R. R. Martin intertwined with what's happening in this episode, and that's the Mad Queen. I feel like in the books it will be developed really well. I feel like in the show, if they had more time, like as you said before, D&D had this opportunity to have more budget, to have more seasons, and they
it's getting ready for Star Wars, mate.
Yeah, like the Mad Queen could have been this thing you built up over like 4 seasons. Like you could look at the little clues for what she was going to do. I feel like in the books she will become the Mad Queen for certain. I think that's George R. Martin written.
Well, it's like a tragedy. It works, but. You're not just like, it doesn't come out of nowhere.
That's why when she was burned in the city, we saw the wildfire go up. It was the remnants of Ares.
What I said was, it was like she was contributing to her father's legacy, but you know how it was only like
negative aspects.
You know how like the wildfire was so small in comparison to the massive blaze from her. It seems to reflect that like what she was doing was infinitely worse than what her father did.
Hers is the greatest sacking in recent Westerosi history.
Do you say it was the greatest slaughter since Aegon the Conqueror?
Yeah, since he took the 7 kingdoms.
I think that's what it reflects, though. Like, I really like the contrast between the green and
Aegon the Conqueror, he beat these 2 great houses. I'm sorry, I can't remember their names. Darry, perhaps. It was like one of the original Lannisters fought them in some other house. And it was basically this huge force, and they were outnumbered Aegon's forces by like 15 times to 1 or something similar. But he had a couple of dragons with his sisters, and he burnt the entire army. Similar to how we saw Drogon act, is like they're invulnerable, these dragons, and they call that battle the Field of Fire.
What was really cool about this episode was they I think I said before, they truly show the might of just one dragon. And it's just such a shame that they destroyed that second dragon for no reason. I think they did that to just level the playing field a bit. I think it was solely a plot. I think it was solely a plot.
I think it would have been stronger if Jon was on a dragon.
Yeah, Jon should have been on...
Yeah. And imagine he saw Daenerys burn the city and he chose not to. That would have been way more powerful. If he was sitting on his dragon and he says... No,
this isn't right. Yeah, he's at the top, and then he sees her like turning her head, like the rage like flowing through her, and he sees the change happening, and he goes, "Don't do it, Dany." And then she gives him one last look, and then she flies down while he's screaming for him to stop.
Imagine then he drops with Rhaegal, and he sits on the ground. He says, "Rhaegal, go, go!" And he sends Rhaegal away from the battle because it's not right.
Yeah.
You shouldn't burn the city. Jon Snow should have saved everyone. That could have been a great moment. We only got a really small glimpse of it in the episode, didn't we?
Well, yeah, because he was saving the Northmen. Sorry, he was saving the civilians from the rapist Northmen who were like, "Oh yeah, here we go."
That reminded me like a lot of Troy, when Achilles came into the city and he started killing his own men to save the woman he loved. When he saw that the Northmen were basically raping and pillaging everything against Jon Snow's character, he killed one of his own men. At least it seemed like it was...
No, what was so sad to me was, in that moment, that civilian he saves, I think it's like a girl, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he looks at her and his voice kind of breaks and he goes, "Go, get out of here." And
Run for your life.
And he looks so devastated because he's saving this person, but he knows that he's part of the force responsible for this atrocity. And I think that's the saddest thing, that whether he likes it or not, he is part of this, and that's why his voice breaks.
He's the foreign invasion that took King's Landing.
Like, for all intents and purposes, he is the same as those North people,
he's
raping and pillaging. He's with them.
Yeah,
you are who you align yourself with.
Yeah.
So that's the terrible thing.
That was the only redeeming quality of Jon in this episode. They've misused him the entire season. They've ruined Jon Snow's character, but that was the one redeeming quality. I think he should have fought Grey Worm, and he should have killed him.
How amazing would that have been if he killed Grey Worm? And what you were saying before about the Northmen getting behind him, it would have been cool too if allegiances had been split and like half the Northmen were behind him and like the Lannisters as well, and he was fighting on the force, but only a select number of true Northmen fought with him. So as you said before, if he'd been like, "Lannisters, Northmen with me," but we didn't really
how cool would that have been? How cool that.
But I reckon not all the Northmen would have come to his side.
Well,
it would have
been
to
rape and pillage to
I know. But do you want those people in your ranks? I certainly don't want any rapists in my ranks.
It's what happens when every siege happens, but Jon Snow is not a...
you're not going to hire any... You wouldn't personally want to have any rapists and pillagers in Descension Media, would you?
No. Well, we've already got one.
That's some bullshit. You know.
Look at his face. He's a rapist right there.
You absolute arsehole. You've compromised me.
No, he's a good man. At least
I am.
I can tell.
Yeah, this is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, but it's
the antithesis of who I am.
But when he kills that Northman, I feel like we should have had a lot more of that.
Yeah.
We should have had a lot more of Jon Snow really telling them...
I think it's a missed opportunity not killing Grey Worm.
He should have killed him.
Grey Worm
has cut his clean.
Grey Worm's time is up.
Because you know what? Jon Snow is the greatest swordsman that ever lived in the show. and he should have fought an Unsullied and defeated him easily. He should have cleaved his head clean off. He should have been fighting Grey Worm, and Grey Worm said, "For the Queen, are you with her?" And Jon Snow should have said, "Not like this." And the man that gives the sentence should swing the sword,
exactly.
and he takes off Grey Worm's head because it's not right what he did. When Jon Snow sees injustice, he's fought it at every opportunity.
If Grey Worm hadn't done that, the Unsullied probably wouldn't have engaged.
No, it's because he's the leader of the Unsullied, and they saw their mad queen burning the city.
Oh, God's sake!
So let's get to another big thing of the episode. Get hype, Clegane Bowl.
Woo!
What did you think of this? Sandor Clegane ascending the steps.
I thought it was. We've been waiting for this for years, and I think that actually did do that justice.
To be fair, this is very fan servicey. I think it'll only
It was
happen in the show.
pretty awesome how the Red Keep. Sorry, it wasn't the Red Keep. The throne. It was Red Keep. Sorry, the roof had collapsed. It was gone.
Just like the Vision.
And you just see Clegane, and you see the mountains staring at each other down.
He's telling Arya, "Don't come with me because you will die." This is my
And she actually
fight.
didn't come with them, which was interesting.
And that's the thing I loved. Is
and had that tender moment.
We had this awesome scenery of the mountain looking down with like the dragon in the background, and Sandor Clegane standing against Great Eagle by himself.
He annihilated like
the Queen's
Qyburn. No, Qyburn.
No, but Sandor Clegane wiped out the Queen's Guard essentially by himself.
No, the mountain when he killed Qyburn. I mean, just threw him against like the jagged.
I felt like it was a bit of a cheap death, but the thing I liked about it was he was killed by his own creation.
Oh yeah, Frankenstein-esque.
Yeah, I like that. That was really cool. What did you think about the fight between these two?
I thought it was pretty awesome.
Characters?
I actually had to look away. I was horrified because I thought it was a repeat of the Viper. I thought it was happening again, and they were going to subject us to the most horrific imagery known to man. And I'm not talking about my gaunt figure after terrible exams. That's horrific enough. This was far worse than that. Or might I say, you in your bed when you're trying desperately to get through a mediocre assignment.
Oh, you could say that. Like the thing I loved.
Did you think it was going to happen? He was going to crush his head.
I thought so, but I thought Arya would slip through the legs.
No, you were like screaming, going, "Not again!"
Yeah.
And did you see me just go, "Oh God!" I just could not physically handle it.
Yeah, it was really funny, but the thing is, like,
it was not funny. It was horrifying.
No, the thing is, like, Sandor lost to Brienne. He's lost a few fights. He's not the most formidable man. The Mountain's never lost. He killed the Viper, you know, the Red Viper, Oberyn Martell, one of the greatest like spearsmen or swordsmen in the entire kingdom.
Yeah.
Sandor was the only one that could stop him in the end. Brienne couldn't have stopped the Mountain. It had to be
required his sacrifice in the end.
And it had one of my favourite dialogue sequences of the entire episode when he knocked off the helmet of the Mountain and he said, "I see you. You were always that to me." That's brilliant. I love that.
That was great. Like this repulsive monster in front of him.
That's what he always saw. I love that. The Hound is one of the few characters where they did true justice in the show. Like, he got an amazing
arc. He had a great redemptive arc.
Yeah, like what Jamie should have gotten. But like the one thing I will say about that fight, I wish he wielded a flaming sword.
Yeah.
I wish he fought the Mountain with flames.
In a way, he did.
Well, it ended
he did like take on his fear of flames because in the end he was always running from it. But in this way, he was kind of leaping into it to destroy the mountain.
Stop the mountain, and he was the only man that could stop.
Someone had to put a stop to that.
And he did. He was the only man that could.
Yeah.
I love how at the end when he's getting his eyes gouged out. It was the Viper all over again.
It's so
and
horrific.
Daniel could not handle it.
I looked away. I was horrified.
And the Hound just kind of looks up after he stabbed him in the.
Is that what's going to end between you and me?
No, probably.
Be like the Mountain and Clegane.
Yeah.
How dare you! You've taken everything from me. You've taken Descension Media from me. 0.01%. You fucking bastard!
I love that. I was just stabbing him and laughing, saying, "Just fucking die, please, just die." And when he stabs him through the head, and he looks up with his one good eye, and he realizes this is his.
You know, he's laughing. He's like, he's
a broken man, but he realizes it has to be him, and he just takes him through the wall and descends into the flames. I feel like it's the perfect end for him.
And I like how Arya finally said thank you for everything he's done.
Because the Hound it was never Brienne.
I think that was the final thing.
The Hound.
I think that was the final thing he needed to face his ultimate fear: the fire and the mountain. Yeah,
it's because it's what I was thinking before the episode is when he left King's Landing. And when Arya was going to mercy kill him and he said, "I wish I raped your sister, at least I would have one happy memory." When Arya said thank you, I think he got his happy memory.
I think that actor's fantastic. He is very subtle acting. You saw him look visibly happy, but it was so subtle.
You know what that is? It's hashtag redemption.
Woo!
That's what he did.
Speaking of
I think that was his one happy moment, his one happy memory, and he got it. And he just took the mountain through the wall, and he descended into the flames, and he killed him. He killed the mountain. It was the Hound, and you know what? Fuck yeah to the Hound.
Just trying to think if I was nude in the future in front of you, and then you said you've always been this to me. So I'm trying to think of some... Nude if a cock as hard as you're on.
So let's get to our favourite characters, Daniel. Tyrion and Jaime.
Oh, okay. Tyrion...
So let's talk about
what happened. About Tyrion before.
We didn't really...
No, Tyrion's character was absolutely butchered. He's just so dumb. The last thing he said to Cersei was, the time will come...
Well, it's not the last thing, because he spoke to her in the
one of the last things he said was... that it kind of ruins... Yeah, well, he shouldn't have done what he did the last episode, but in Season 4, he kind of says to Cersei, the time will come when joy turns to ashes in your mouth, and you'll know the debt is paid. And then he sees... Next time he sees her, he's like saying, you're a good lady, you're not a monster. Don't do this. Think of your children.
Yeah.
And this episode, he frees Jaime from confinement to go and reason with Cersei so they can both escape.
No, he tells her where to
together.
retreat as well.
It's absolutely absurd. Why would... Oh, it's... D&D!
They ruined Tyrion's character completely, and the thing
he should have died.
The thing I wanted most from this episode was Jaime's redemption.
Oh, that's the worst part of it. I agree. That's what put a bad taste in our mouths at the very end of the episode. Why is that one of the final shots?
We've had this thing with Jaime Lannister since probably Season 3 and probably Book 3, where he's finally a point of view character, and we have him with Brienne.
Yeah.
And he's like, tell us what he said about the people, like how he cared about the people of the Mad
I can't remember
King.
the exact quote, but he kind of said, like, he just didn't care about them at all. He said, like, I don't care about any of the people in King's Landing.
No, but what happened, like, in the bath scene and in the books?
Oh, yeah, pretty much he's talking about, like, how he cared about the people so much that he was willing to, like, put a sword through his own king in order to save him. That's how much he cared as a person. And my God, it just doesn't make any sense.
He saved King's Landing. That's what he said. It's like, how dare the wolf judge the lion? Because Jaime made the ultimate sacrifice. He saved King's Landing because the Mad King said, burn them all, like in his final breath, like, burn them all. And Jaime says, I didn't think he was expecting to die. I thought he was going to come back. And that's why he had to slit his throat, just to make sure that he wouldn't come back. Jaime's entire character was about redemption. Redemption! It was about redemption. It was about See, this is the thing D&D don't understand. The subversion of expectations is sometimes
doesn't give you the payoff. It subverts the payoff.
The subversion is that Jaime was a terrible man to begin with, but he becomes a good man through the entirety of the story. He was meant to be the Valonqua. He was meant to stop Cersei, because that is his redemption. That's what Brienne represented. Everything he could have been. And
do you know what
did we get that?
Can I tell you what it is to me, what they did to Jaime's character? It's an egregious wrong. What do you think?
Is that a reference?
No. I don't think... Oh, I don't know. I don't think so.
It's a reference now. It's a meme.
What do you think of that? I think it's nothing short of an egregious wrong. It is so wrong.
Can I ask you something, Daniel?
What?
What was the point of Jaime?
There was no point.
In Game of Thrones. What was the point?
Brienne should have killed him in that bathtub. She should have said to him, "You're all talk, Jaime. Everything you say is bullshit, and you're a piece of shit." Should have snapped his neck.
He shouldn't have had his hand chopped.
And Brienne was wrong. Brienne was wrong when she said to Jaime, "You're a good man."
You're a good man. I think
we all assumed that Jaime was just
lying to
Brienne so she wouldn't follow him.
That was the first time he was
hateful, spiteful.
That was the first time he was truly happy. With Brienne, and Brienne was truly happy.
And his character changes like that makes no sense.
That's the thing. Brienne's always been mocked for her size and her awful appearance. And when someone actually accepted her, like, Jaime Lannister's meant to be one of the most desirable men in the Seven Kingdoms, one of the most attractive men, and he saw interest in her, and that's the beauty of their sex scene, is because it's Jaime's first time without Cersei, and it's Brienne's first time ever. So it's this really special connection between these two characters that have great chemistry over a very long period of time. And you threw that out the window, as you always do.
Makes no sense. Everything they do conflicts. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if in episode 6, major plot points conflict with episode 5, because it's just, it's a cacophony of noise with no coinciding viewpoints.
Me and Daniel were both of the opinion that Jaime was going to kill Cersei.
He should have done it.
When she said, "You're hurt." I thought he was going to say, "So are you," and he'd start stabbing her into the gut,
Yeah.
just like the Red Wedding, just like Talisa. We didn't get that. Jaime did not redeem himself. There was no arc. There was nothing. There's nothing to Jaime. He should have died
He's
long
just
ago.
an asshole.
Ned Stark should have killed him in the streets in season 1. He should have stopped.
Like,
the guy
you had
where
all
he
those
stood.
scenes where Jamie seemed very remorseful.
Why-
Even to Bran. You know, he goes up to Bran and he doesn't know how to talk to him, and he even says, "I'm sorry for what I did to you," and then Bran's like, "But everything brought you here now." I'm like, but it doesn't. Everything
matter.
brought him here. Everything brought him here now to be the same asshole that he always was.
He's the same man that threw Bran out the window. Imagine that. Imagine that as a character. That's your predefining character.
Imagine if you and me didn't evolve as characters over the years.
That's
What kind of men would we still be?
So he's the guy that pushed Bran out the window. He's the guy that strangled his cousin under
man.
the imprisonment of Robb Stark. What was the point of Jaime? To the viewers, please tell me in the comments, what was the point of Jaime Lannister in the show? I'd love to hear it, because to me, it seems like there was no point. Jaime was one of my favourite characters for that very reason, that he had redemption in him. He could turn it all around and he would make it all right. He is the Valonqua, right? He is the one that's going to kill Cersei. It's meant to be the little brother. That's the prophecy, right? Is that she would have 3 children. The king would have 20 or so, and she would be usurped by a younger, more beautiful queen, and she would die at the hands of the Valonqua, which I believe is Old Valyrian, at the pale hands around her neck. Cersei, I've been waiting to die for a very long time, 8 seasons, and her death was so unsatisfying. All the monstrosities, like, you remember when she had that scepter of the faith, she had the mountain to rape her, and said, "You're not going to die today. You'll die a very long time from now." We had this monster Cersei that's done so much terrible, and at the very end, D&D wanted us to feel empathy for her. She was the cause of one of the major causes of Ned's death.
There was no build-up to any redemptive arc for her. Like, nothing was put in place.
She's not a redeeming character.
I know,
she was
she's
never
not.
meant to be.
I know, that's what I mean. They didn't do anything to try and redeem her. It's just absurd. And do you know what's sad too? Like, as you said in season 4, where Jaime looks in his book of deeds and there's nothing there, and he says there's still time. Jaime doesn't give a shit about
doesn't contribute anything. I thought that would be his final deed.
Man.
I thought knighting Sir Brienne of Tarth, the first woman knight
does
of
care if he
Westeros,
does that.
That's a great deed to put in his book. You know what the final deed is? He killed the Mad Queen Cersei. I'm going to do this series in the future where I go through the books and I talk about my theories about these characters, about where they're going to go before the Winds of Winter comes out. I can tell you for certain, viewers, if you were very unhappy with how Jaime's character ended in the show, I can say almost with certainty that he will not end like that in the books. No way in hell. If you want the true story, read George R. Martin's vision. That's what it was meant to be. He will have redemption. He will. He has to. And if he doesn't, fuck you, George R. Martin. Just like fuck you, D&D. Everything has been leading up to this. There's this famous thing that George R. Martin says where he's just like, if you build up over a long period of time that the butler killed someone, then if you read the people, hear about it, then you change it to the chambermaid, all the foreshadowing goes to hell and you ruin the book.
Do you know?
All this foreshadowing to Jaime Lannister's redemption was for nothing in the show, because you know what? D&D, David Benioff, I kind of forgot that Jaime was meant to be an honourable guy at this point.
It just didn't seem right in that moment.
It didn't seem right in that moment to give
Do you know
Jaime
what it's
his
kind
redemption.
of do you know what this kind of is like? What it should have been? You know, Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's a great show, right? And one of the main characters, Zuko, has probably.
I thought he was going to be a parallel.
He has
Zuko.
one of the best redemptive arcs I've ever seen.
If you haven't seen The Last Airbender,
I need to watch it again.
We won't spoil it, but I'd say
it's not just a kid show.
Definitely watch it.
It's not just. But what pretty much for the fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender, you'll be able to relate here. Pretty much what happened with Jaime, it's like Zuko he's gone up to every point of his arc, and he's right at the point where he finally fulfills it, and he just decides to go back to his father. No, he goes back to his father, the Fire Lord, after he's defied him. No, that's pretty much what happens. He defies.
It's exactly what happens.
In one pivotal scene, he defies his father, Fire Lord Ozai, and it's a very emotional scene because he's never.
It's one of the most powerful scenes of the entire series.
And he walks away from him and goes to join Avatar
because he's stronger.
Yeah, it kind of is. The parallels are so evident.
Prevalent.
He goes back. He goes to make allies with his previous enemies, which is what Jaime did.
Which is who he's been.
But then it's like. But what has pretty much happened is Jaime has gone back to his old ways. It's like Zuko goes back to Fire Lord Ozai after setting in motion a redemptive arc. It just doesn't make sense. Look at Zuko. That is a great redemptive arc. They've just absolutely botched it with Jaime. And if you want to know the truth, it makes me sick to my stomach. And I haven't been sick for a long time since my last hangover, but I might be tonight when I go home and empty the contents of my stomach.
Yeah.
You like that one?
I haven't been this upset about a Game of Thrones episode since the Red Wedding, but this is for a very different reason. The Long Night disappointed me, as you saw in our video. Yeah, like it ruined us all hype, ruined Jon Snow's character, but what they did to Jaime was such an injustice that I cannot forgive. The episode as a whole, I love the episode. I really love the Mad Queen aspect. I love the way it was shot.
That was amazing.
Like, I don't want to sound like a casual, like, oh, it was really pretty to look at, the battle scenes were cool. No, like, I really liked the themes of it. I liked Varys' death. I liked a lot of the aspects. I like Jon Snow realizing he had the wrong allegiance.
He was on the wrong side, yeah.
But what you did to Jaime at the end was such a slap in the face to every book reader, and not just book readers, every show watched this character for a very long time, because I reckon the actor gave almost a pitch-perfect portrayal of what Jaime Lannister is.
I reckon the thing, it's hard because on one hand you want to look at the episode as a whole, right? And Jaime's...
As a whole, it's
great. Jaime's part wasn't a big aspect of the episode, but on the one hand, Jaime's part as a whole in the series was absolutely huge. So it's hard to, like, separate the two.
I told Daniel after the episode, I don't think I can watch the rest of the series again after this, because
you probably can't.
What they did to Jaime's
White Walkers,
character.
Jaime, there are so many things that you'll be watching. You'll all the major characters, you'll know that nothing amounts to anything. The three-eyed raven with Bran. Why the hell did he go and find this guy if nothing's gonna come from it? It doesn't make any sense.
What they did to Jaime is almost unforgivable for me. I probably won't be able to rewatch the series if this is really how it ends for him. But I guess we're gonna finish up on a note of hope. Like, what do you think's gonna happen in the next?
I'd say first of all, overall, the episode was a mixed bag. It had some great moments, but also had some very terrible character moments.
If they just fixed Jon and they just fixed Jaime,
and Tyrion too.
One of the best things since season.
But yeah, the Mad Queen stuff was really amazing. In the next episode, who's to say? It's could be anything. It's going to be Jon facing Daenerys, obviously.
Here's my prediction. I think Jon Snow is going to stab Daenerys in the back as she walks towards the throne, just like in the prophecy, and she can never touch the Iron Throne. But I don't know what else besides that.
You like the idea I had before where I mentioned Jon stabbing Daenerys and then like screaming and mourning on the ground, and then everyone in King's Landing sees it and they all like get to one knee in silence and like commemorate, sort of like they're like respecting the sacrifice he's made.
This is the man that should lead us, you know?
It is the man.
You know
what?
It should be the man that leads us into the long night, but we can't do that anymore, can we?
Anyway, we'll see what happens next week.
Well, I reckon we'll do another video next week.
Whoa!
We're going to have our reactions there.
Ready for a bit of fun?
And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you've watched this long. I hope you hopefully agree with us. If you don't...
I've always seen you.
If you don't agree with us, just let us know where we got it wrong. Let us know where we could improve. And we'll see you on the next time. Like, this has been our Game of Thrones kind of series. We've kind of had a few episodes about this season. Hope you enjoyed it.
See you later.
We'll have more to say next time.